I've got to ask you about the recent departure of Candace Owens. I know it's a subject that you probably don't want to discuss, but I would be remiss if I didn't at least go there. She left. It made tons of news. The right loves to eat its own, so they loved this. You know, either Ben's bad or Candace is bad, but somebody's bad, and we love it. It's like the right likes to eat the left, and they love to eat their own. They have absolutely no instinct for like self-preservation over on the right or like keeping their own coalition together. It's kind of interesting to watch. But I'm sure that whole thing was rather unpleasant. It's now spun into a debate about whether the Daily Wire is pro-free speech. The accusation is you are until it comes to Israel.
Megyn Kelly asked Ben Shapiro about the ouster of Candace Owens from the Daily Wire. And as you can see, Shapiro's support for free speech was called into question due to this line of questioning that you're about to hear Ben respond to. Now, was this about censorship? Was it about something more? Was Ben Shapiro the one behind all of it? Well, let's hear how he responded to Megyn Kelly, and then we'll unpack it all.
What I will say is that we have a wide variety of positions on Israel right now inside the Daily Wire. Matt Walsh obviously is another one of the hosts at the Daily Wire. He and I wildly disagree about what America's Israel policy should be. Matt is much more isolationist. He basically believes the United States has no real interests in the Middle East, and thus the United States should not be providing material support to anyone, including the state of Israel. You know, Matt obviously is well within the sort of group of hosts that we have here at the Daily Wire. So clearly whatever is going on is not about Israel specifically. That's really all I have to say about it. As far as the free speech of it, as I've said before, the Daily Wire is a publisher, not a platform. I would never call for anyone to be ousted from an actual platform, X, YouTube. Even people who are, I think, absolutely horrific human beings, I've never called for any of them to be ousted. In fact, I've called for them to have their accounts restored if they've been banned. That's not the same thing when it comes to publishers. Publishers obviously have to decide what sort of things they wish to pay for the publication of, and when it comes to hosts and publishers parting ways, obviously there'll be a non-meeting of the minds. That's pretty much all I can say on that.
So he was asked similar questions during an interview with Piers Morgan. He was a little more reserved there, and let's just get this out of the way, Jen, because I think it's important. Part of the reason why he's reserved and isn't specifically commenting on Candace Owens is because he doesn't want to face the defamation lawsuit. Let's keep it real.
Pausing here to deliver some honest truth as we do in our news coverage as well. TYT is facing challenges, guys, as the entire industry is. You know who could make the difference? You. If you hit the join button below, it's gonna make all the difference and keep us in business. We appreciate you, thank you. Look, as a guy who runs a similar company, I can tell you, it's clear why he's hesitant to talk. There's two reasons. One is the political one, which we'll get back into in a sec. But the main one is litigation reasons. So when you let go of an employee, especially one that's on air like that, they're itching to sue you. And the minute he says, well, there's a difference between Israel supporting it or being against it, and then the current government and supporting or being against Jews in general, Jewish people, and that's anti-Semitism, boom, defamation. You just called me anti-Semitic, not a breach of contract, defamation, blah, 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 blah. So Shapiro's in a super tough spot there. He really can't even defend himself because it'll add to the potential litigation that they might have. Would Candace Owens do that though? Just sue him even though she's not anywhere near right to get more money? Of course! So I don't know that she's gonna do it. I don't have any inside information, but I would be shocked if she wasn't threatening that and Shapiro and Daily Wire weren't concerned about that.
So look, I have a lot of mixed feelings on this. So let's start with the free speech absolutist, statements coming from the right wing for a few years now, several years now. No one's actually a free speech absolutist. I don't believe anyone who says that they are. Because
doesn't make any sense.
Because the second someone engages in speech that hits your Achilles heel or something that you're like very, very invested in, very sensitive about, all of a sudden free speech doesn't matter, okay?
Of course.
Free speech absolutism, I have yet to see anyone genuinely practice that, live that kind of lifestyle, and prove themselves to be a free speech absolutist.
And not only that, you shouldn't, okay? Yeah. So, look guys, I mean, obviously you got the spectacular examples like Elon Musk, I'm a free speech absolutist, Don Lemon offended me, you're fired, right? Okay. Come on. But okay, put aside the personal examples, just as a matter of logic. Okay, so is Ben Shapiro supposed to hire, let's say me, right?
Oh my God.
Right? What, do I have a right to get hired by him? Or if I was accidentally hired, he can never fire me, even though he and I disagree on 98% of issues? Well, that doesn't make any sense. He doesn't have any obligation to hire or keep someone he doesn't agree with if he's doing his network.
That
his
could
network
be a lot of fun, though. I mean, that would definitely bring some flavor to that network.
Yeah, I hear you, but Daily Wire doesn't have any obligation to hire progressives, and Young Turks doesn't have any obligation to hire conservatives. So
you're sitting next to one right now, Cenk.
That's what I hear, right wing turn. Okay, no, seriously, guys, look, we're very open-minded at the network, and you'll see us disagreeing all the time, and you'll see heated debates on TYT, but we're very unusual.
Right.
And so, but that's a choice we're making. I want to be open-minded.
Yeah,
right?
I agree, yep.
But you can't force someone, pay a guy you don't agree with. That's not a thing.
Yes. Now, look, I suspect that Shapiro has had issues with Candace Owens for some time now. I don't think that this is new. It's just my speculation. But, look, there's the growing, America First base within the Republican Party. They're certainly more isolationist. They certainly do believe in America first, meaning, hey, let's not use our resources on other countries. Let's use our resources, all this hard-earned taxpayer money, on creating a better country for Americans, right? That is definitely a chunk of the Republican base right now. And so that's the reason why he talked about how there's, Matt Walsh, who's in favor of that kind of isolationist ideology. So he's, bringing that up to say, Candace Owens represented that, but don't worry, we still have that viewpoint represented with Matt Walsh. And look, I don't watch Matt Walsh, so I'm just going to take his word for it and believe him when he says that.
Matt Walsh is very against the current Israeli government.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know, what his intentions as to why he is, I don't know, and I don't want to know.
Okay. Candace Owens, though, was pretty brazen about her statements against Jewish people. And I think that's where the problem comes in, right? It wasn't just simply criticism of Israel's government. For instance, Owens began to use her Daily Wire platform to promote anti-Semitism, claiming this month that on her show that secret Jewish gangs terrorize Hollywood.
Yeah, I ran into one the other day. They mugged me. I'm like, oh, it's a secret Jewish gang. Okay, that's insanity. So guys, that gets to my major point here.
Wait, one more.
Okay,
one more is Owens has contributed or continued to generate more controversy, liking a post on X in which a user accused a rabbi of being drunk on Christian blood. Now, if she was simply critical of Israel's government, I agree with that. Commentary, I agree with that take. Attacking Jewish people, I think, is wrong.
I don't think this is complicated.
No, I don't.
I don't know why people think it's so complicated. It's kind of dispiriting that people think it's hard to figure this out. No, being against the government is perfectly reasonable. That's what, as commentators, we're constantly criticizing the American government. And it depends, doesn't it? Is Trump in charge? Is Biden in charge? Ben Shapiro, Daily Wire, etc. criticize the American government all the time, especially under Biden. We criticize it under Trump and under Biden because we're fair, right? We criticize the Turkish government, the Israeli government, the Russian government, the Ukrainian government. Of course that's within bounds. If you say that, no, Israel is special, and that's the one country you're not allowed to criticize, you're a nut job. And I don't care what you think, and I don't care if you can label everyone who criticizes the Israeli government an anti-Semite. That's an old dirty trick. And guys like Shapiro, unfortunately, the boy who cried wolf, they've done that trick 2,000 times. But now the problem with crying wolf is when the wolf actually shows up. And anti-Semitism is the wolf, it is real. And when Candace Owens says that there's a secret ring of Jews who run Hollywood and DC and that they're sinister, that's textbook anti-Semitism. If you can't tell that that's anti-Semitic, I got bad news for you. That probably means you're anti-Semitic. Like you believe that there's a conspiracy of Jews that run around. Right? Look, guys, there's powerful people that are Jewish, Muslim, Christian, Hindu, etc. Do they try to protect their own interests in different ways? Of course they do. Does that mean there's a cabal and only they're in charge and no Christian is allowed to say anything? They're like, oh, it's the secret Jews that run everything. Yes, sir, yes. Why would Christians or Muslims do that? It doesn't make any sense. And so let alone the drinking of the Christian blood. I mean, if that's not anti-Semitic, brothers and sisters, literally nothing's anti-Semitic to you. Okay, so yes, it's an easy distinction. I think Candace Owens is an obvious, over-the-top anti-Semite. She kept complimenting Kanye West when Kanye West was saying that Hitler's a good guy. It's not hard, it's not complicated. By the way, Megyn Kelly, good question, but the rest of it was a disaster. She tried to have it both ways. Afterwards, she says, well, I can't tell who's right, but and I remember when we used to have the fights with the lunatic on that left our team, right?
Which one?
Jimmy Dore. Okay. And yeah, I know, there was a couple. Do you still want me to hire Dave Rubin, who's a total right-winger now? So anyways, and people are like, oh, golly gee, I can't tell who's right? If you can't tell that Candace Owens is wrong when she likes a tweet that says the Jews drink Christian blood, there's something wrong with you. Okay, that's not hard, and that has nothing to do with the Israeli government. And if you think that I'm covering for Israel, watch any other TYT video.
I mean, including stories we did today. So yeah.
Okay, I've literally called the IDF the biggest terrorist organization in the world. Netanyahu is the top terrorist in the world right now. And if you say that's anti-Semitic, why? You didn't even hear the case. No, you can't say it about Jews ever, even if they're wrong on an individual basis. No, agree to disagree. I can say it. I can say it about Jews just as much as I can say it about Muslims or Christians or Buddhists, okay? But if you say because they're Jewish, they drink Christian blood, have a secretive ring that controls everything, that's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Please, guys, this is not hard. And then the last thing is just it's tangential, but Megyn Kelly talking about how the right likes to eat their own. What?
There is an interesting and growing divide among the right.
There is, but before like 2 weeks ago, there was like the right would support them. Like you agree with the right 2%, they're like, welcome into the tent, right?
Well, yeah.
Right? And the left, you disagree 2%, get out of the tent, you Nazi fascist.
Which is a super smart strategy if you want to build a broad coalition of people to get the preferred policy goals accomplished.
Yeah, but you're right, they are fighting more these days, but it's such a recent development, and normally the right wing never does that. So this is interesting. But here, even though I disagree 100% with Ben Shapiro on Israel, he's definitely right about Candace Owens. I would definitely fire her, and it wouldn't even be close. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.